Everybody hates Pope. Everybody hates Pope. Everybody hates Pope. Everybody hates Pope.
This is an MB13 production.
Everybody hates Pope. Everybody hates Pope. Everybody hates Pope. Everybody hates Pope. Talking all facts, keeping egos. If you got receipts, brother, bring them to the show. When it come down to it, who to go? All you LeBron James fans, I want smoke. Everybody hates Pope. Everybody hates Pope. Everybody hates Pope. Everybody hates Pope. Talking all facts, keeping ego. If you got receipts, brother, bring them to the show. When it come down to it, who the GOAT? All you LeBron James fans, I want smoke.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Everybody Hates Pope Radio. Coming through, man, talk some Steelers football, man. My man Marques Pouncey, not my man, but Marques Pouncey retired. It looks like Juju Smith-Schuster is well on his way. So these are things that we need to wrap about. But before I do that, man, I gotta ask you guys, man, please like, share, and subscribe. Comment on the video. It's absolutely free to support the channel and help it grow. So again, please like, share, and subscribe. Comment on the video, do your part, man, to help this show grow. I appreciate it. So let's get started first, man. The Steelers were cap strapped. We're waiting on Ben Roethlisberger's decision. Is he going to stay? Is he going to leave? What are we going to be able to negotiate him down to? Will we be able to put some voidable years on his contract, which would be key? But right now, what we're going to focus on is two players. We're going to focus on Juju Smith-Schuster. We're going to focus on Marques Pouncey. So let's start off with Juju Smith-Schuster. This is the story that just will not go away. For whatever reason, he's a very polarizing figure. People either love him or they hate him. He has a whole fan base that just takes joy in saying that he's a number 2 and not a number 1. Not sure why that is. When it comes to football, Juju Smith-Schuster is a player that I can't imagine, I can't fathom why anybody would not love this kid. I don't understand that at all. You're talking about a kid that never cheats the game. He goes out there and plays the game hard on every single play. If he's not catching the ball, he's blocking it. He's blocking hard. This is the same guy that knocked Vontaze Burfict, the bad guy, into week 18. Right? It's like we forget about that and we don't give a shit. This is the same guy that will catch a screen pass on a 3rd and 2, catch a screen pass and run 2 guys over like a fullback just to get 3 yards. That's rare to see wide receivers do things like that, man. The guy plays hard. He doesn't complain. This is the same guy that we saw. They put him in the slot this year. They gave him a crap role in order to bring down his value. Business decision. And he never even complained. Never had a bad word to say about any of it. Somehow, some way, though, he has a whole entire base that can't stand him at all. But let's talk about facts, all right? Let's talk about facts. We're going to lose Juju Smith-Schuster most likely because, number 1, we can't afford him. It looks like the Jets is going to bring back up the Brinks truck, and it looks like the Raiders wants to get into that sweepstakes as well. I like him going to the Raiders, by the way. If he's going to leave, I would like to see him go to the Raiders because with that running game that they have, with Derek Carr, with Henry Ruggs, a guy that can stretch the field, Juju could be a problem. Juju could be a problem. He could return to his form. But let's talk about this, man. Is he a number 1? Is he not a number 1? I say he's a number 1. Okay? All my buddies, Will Forbes, Foss, where's Zap at? Zap, these guys, man, they're hell bent on the fact that he's not a number 1 wide receiver. I even heard Shannon Sharp say that he's not a number 1 wide receiver. But see, whenever you're watching these shows on TV, you always got to understand the bias. Shannon Sharp and Antonio Brown are good friends. So there's that. Okay? Listen, is he a number 1 wide receiver? The bottom line is this. What's that? The bottom line is this. He already was a number 1 wide receiver. He was a number 1 wide receiver this year. See, you guys that are saying that he's a number 2 wide receiver, you are ignoring the facts. The main reason you're ignoring the facts is because you already said that he wasn't a number 1 wide receiver based on what happened last year. and you're just stubborn, and your pride just won't let you accept the facts. The fact is, this year he had 97 grabs. That is nothing to sneeze at. The fact is, he had 9 touchdowns. Both of those, receptions and touchdowns, are major receiving categories, and those both registered top 10 in the National Football League. Top 10. But what you will do is focus on the yards. Oh, he only had 831 yards. Okay. All right. Well, explain Deontay Johnson's low average. Explain the fact that Deontay Johnson didn't have 1,000. Explain the fact that none of our wide receivers had 1,000. You're acting as if you didn't see that the Steelers had one of the most pathetic and pedestrian offenses in the league on purpose. That we on purpose decided to throw the short passes and dink and dunk. That was the actual game plan. But I'm looking at the fact that the man finished top 10 in 2 major receiving categories. That alone puts him in a different category. But on this Pittsburgh Steelers team this year, he was top 10 in the NFL in 2 major statistical categories. And on top of that, this is the major one right here. This is the major one. He was the one that got doubled. He did this while getting doubled. He got doubled so Chase Claypool could run free. He got doubled so Deontay Johnson could run free. See, you guys want to put it on me. Pope, you're the only one that thinks he's the number 1. Apparently, I'm not. Every defensive coordinator in the league thinks he's a number 1 because they went into the game saying we got to take Juju out of this game. Explain. Explain. Oh, Pope, you're the only one that thinks he's the number 1. Apparently, I'm not. Because this summer, this spring I should say, he's going to get a number 1 contract. So you got defensive coordinators saying Juju Smith-Schuster is the most dangerous wide receiver on that football team. And now you got general managers saying we're going to pay this man like a number 1. Guys, that's really all that needs to be said. Like, there's nothing to argue about. You understand? Shannon Sharp's opinion don't matter because Shannon Sharp ain't cut no check. Shannon Sharp's opinion don't matter because Shannon Sharp isn't a defensive coordinator. These guys get into the media all the time and they have alliances. Everything that you hear from these ex-players ain't 100, man. It's not 100. The last point I want to get to is, I hear this all the time. Well, he's the best. He's a good number 2, Pope. He's a good number 2. That cracks me up because he's not just a good number 2. He's not a good number 2. He's literally the best number 2 in NFL history. And that's what I keep telling you dudes. This man is the best number 2 wide receiver in NFL history. And everything he does, you guys want to attribute it to Antonio Brown. When you say, hey, he only had 831 yards. Hey, he hasn't had a 100-yard game in a while. Hey, look at his average. And I say, listen, do you know this man got 3 90-yard touchdowns on his resume? Do you realize this man got 2 97-yard touchdowns on his resume? Oh, well, that's because of Antonio Brown. Okay, well, that's really funny because let's look at Antonio Brown's teammates now. Let's look at Julio Jones' teammates. Let's look at DeAndre Hopkins' teammates. Let's look at Mike Evans' teammates. Anybody that you consider to be a great wide receiver, let's look at their number 2s. Which one of them have 97-yard touchdowns? Let's look at those number 2s. Show me a number 2 that's ever put up 111 grabs, 1,400 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Show me that number 1, 2. I keep asking y'all to show me that number 2. And every time I ask y'all to show me that number 2, you know what you got to do? You got to go to Hall of Famers. You got to go to Hall of Famers that played with other Hall of Famers. Oh, Randy Moss did it when he played with Minnesota. Yes, he's a Hall of Famer. Oh, Terrell Owens did it. I mean, this is rare. This is rare air. No number 2 puts up 111 grabs, 1,400 yards, and 7 touchdowns. So if you're telling me, Pope, he's a number 2, he's the greatest number 2 to ever play the game. Let's be honest here, man. I get fired up about this. Man. Because at the very end of the day, Juju's a likable kid that's never cheated the doggone game of football. And he's a Pittsburgh Steeler that's leaving Pittsburgh. Man, I want to send him off with some respect. I want to salute him on his way out. I don't understand you Steeler fans. Oh, fuck Juju, he's trash. What the fuck? What is wrong with y'all? I don't understand some of y'all Steeler fans. Sometimes y'all can be the worst. Man, AB left on real bad terms, man, but I was happy to see AB get a ring, man. Hey, man, these are my Steeler boys, man. Juju's a good kid, and Juju's on record. He still wants to be here. So I'm hoping that he can stay. If Juju stays on this football team, our wide receiver room is top 5 in the NFL. Period. Top 5 in the NFL. If Juju leaves, we're top 10. Because thank God, one thing that the Pittsburgh Steelers know how to do is draft wide receivers. We do it in our sleep. And I like Chase Claypool. I think Chase Claypool, I've seen enough. I think he's a superstar in the making. I think he is an elite top 5 wide receiver in the NFL in the making. I like Deontay Johnson. This thing with the ball security has got to be improved, but I like Deontay Johnson. He's a great route runner. He's electric. He can make people miss. He can make something out of nothing. So I like Deontay Johnson. I like James Washington. I need him to get the ball more. So either way you look at it, I like our wide receiver room, but I'm going to miss Juju Smith-Schuster. In my opinion, he's definitely number 1. Last point I want to make, okay? I think that the major issue with this whole thing comes with this. When you guys think about number 1s, you are literally thinking about the top 5 to 8 wide receivers in the league. In you guys' mind, if you're not DeAndre Hopkins, if you're not Devontae Adams, if you're not Stephon Diggs, if you're not D-Hop, if you're not one of those guys, then you're not a number 1. It don't work that way. I keep trying to tell y'all this. It don't work that way. So when I say he's a number 1 in the National Football League, what I'm trying to tell you is he could go to at least 20 other teams. He could go to 15 to 20 other teams and be the number 1 wide receiver. What do I mean by that? There's 32 NFL teams, and all 32 NFL teams have a number 1. All 32 have a number 1. There are elite number 1s. There are good number 1s. There are solid number 1s. There are bad number 1s. But the bottom line is that football team has a number 1 wide receiver. They're probably paying him to be a number 1 wide receiver. The coaches are expecting him to be the number 1 wide receiver. But the bottom line is they have a number 1. Every college football team has a number 1. Every high school football team has a number 1. The youth football team has a number 1. Somebody is looked at as the best wide receiver on the team. That's a number 1. Now the number 1 could be a bad number 1. Just because you're a number 1 don't mean that you're fucking Randy Moss. That's the problem that we're having. That's the disconnect. You guys are saying, hey man, he's not D-Hop. He's not Antonio Brown. Okay, and then we're in agreement. We're in agreement. But he is a number 1 in the National Football League, and that's going to be proven because he's going to get paid like one this spring. I would say that Juju, if I had to rank him, I haven't ranked him yet, but I would say Juju Smith-Schuster is a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL, going towards the bottom half. Bottom half. But either way, he'd be he'd be 10 to 15. 10 to 15. But whatever team he gets drafted to go to, he's going to be the number 1 wide receiver on that football team. Again, what I'm telling you is this. There's no way someone that had 111 grabs for 1,400 yards and 7 touchdowns is a number 2. He has exceeded that. He has shown that he is more than that. And I want to point this out too. Those 97 yard touchdowns that he got, those 2 of them were beating double teams. That needs to be said too. I get sick of this, man. I get sick of this. It's like you guys don't want to look at no tape. Even when Antonio Brown was here, Juju Smith-Schuster was catching double teams. I'm going to say that again. When Antonio Brown was here, Juju Smith-Schuster was getting double teamed. And I'm going to say this too. A defense can double team 2 wide receivers on the same play. You guys do realize that, right? Do y'all even realize that? You guys act like, you know what, if you got Juju and you got Antonio Brown, only one person can get double, and we're going to double Antonio Brown 100% of the time. That's not the way it is. Go back and check the film. 97 yards against the Denver Broncos. He beat he beat Chris Harris at corner. They were playing over the top with the safety. He got into the zone. Boom, caught that joker, made the safety miss, and outran everybody for 97 yards. Number 2s don't do that. Number 2s don't do that type of stuff. I think I made my point. No need to beat a dead horse. Let's move on. Marques Pouncey has announced his retirement. Listen, guys, I'm going to keep it 100, all right? I'm going to start off with the good. Marques Pouncey is a borderline Hall of Famer, if not a Hall of Famer. I hope that he does make the Hall of Fame. You're talking about a guy that made the all-decade team. He played 11 years for the Pittsburgh Steelers, 8 Pro Bowls, okay? He compiled, he put together a damn good career. He came in as a young guy, started, showed the ability to get to the second level, showed the ability to pull as a center, which is rare. Very athletic center, okay? But I'm going to tell you this, man. I would say somewhere around maybe Marques' third or fourth year, they were playing the Houston Texans, and I was just watching. I was watching Marques, and I seen him get blown up and put on his ass. It was very embarrassing. Very embarrassing. And after I seen that, for whatever reason, I couldn't stop seeing it. And once I seen that, I noticed that it happened more than people even realized. Marques, he was an excellent center. He's a Pro Bowl center. I love him. But Marques got manhandled. I seen Marques get manhandled far too many times. But Marques was super smart and super athletic, and he was much more like a quarterback on the line, which is why a lot of his offensive lines, most of his offensive lines, were exceptional pass protecting offensive lines. Marques came in and turned our offensive line from terrible into elite. All right, and that goes with Marques being the quarterback of that line. All right, I mean, all of a sudden our line became the smartest offensive line in the league. But for, I would say, like the last 3 years, I've seen his play just decline all the way down, just decline. And I'm happy because now they got things like Pro Football Focus to back that type of stuff up. But as of last year, Pro Football Focus, Marques had one of the poorest ratings of centers in all of football. This year, he was bad. He was real bad. Okay? He was real bad. This guy retiring, it's not coming out of nowhere. It ain't coming out of nowhere. He knows it's over for him. He is done. He doesn't have anything else to give. So what I'm trying to tell you is we're going to save $8 million on the cap. We're going to save $8 million on the cap, and we're going to upgrade at that position. Okay? You save $8 million on the cap. You take $3-4 million. You go out, you get you a 31-year-old center that still has something left in his tank, and he's guaranteed to be better than Marques at this point in his career. Marques is done. All right? So we're going to upgrade for half the money. That's a good thing, guys. That's a good thing. But, I like to salute Marques. You know what I mean? Hell of a career. I hope that he makes a Pro Bowl. Marques is one of those players, though, I will say, I got guys that I like. I got guys I'm fans of. I got guys I don't like. I don't like Ben Roethlisberger too much. Marques is one of those guys. I just didn't like him too much. He rubbed me the wrong way. He, in my opinion, really sold out to his community. He became a Trumper. That's well known. He donated large sums of money to the Pittsburgh Police Department, buying them police horses and things of that nature. That just bothers me. It really does. You can never tell another man how to spend his money, but I don't understand how a black athlete, after seeing the summer that we had last year with George Floyd and all the protests and everybody fighting for injustice and pretty much freedom, justice, and equality and peace, this guy spent his money on buying police horses. I don't get that one. That's his business, but it rubs me the wrong way. Again, he's a Trumper. Then this year, when the team decided to wear Leon Rose on the back of their helmets, being a Pittsburgh guy, he turned around and said he didn't even know who Leon Rose was. Well, he didn't understand the story of Leon Rose. He didn't know what happened. He should have did his homework before he wore it, and he would no longer wear that. I think he did that after the first game. To me, that's a sucker move. But it goes in line with who Marques is and what he was doing. He's clearly a guy that's, he spent time building up his brand so that he can have life after football. I guarantee you Marques is going to be taken care of. He may have restaurants and car dealerships or some type of businesses throughout the city because he's done a whole lot of brown nosing. and that's to be nice. But in any event, man, even though I don't like Marques that much, as far as what he's let me know of him, I don't know the guy personally, but as a professional football player, I don't like him too much. I still love what he brought to the table for us. I still appreciate the time served. I still, again, that's another player that never cheated the game, worked hard, made the offensive line better. I hope that he makes the Hall of Fame. I wish all the best for Marques Pouncey, man. But that's all I got for today, guys. I think that I said this before on Facebook. I think that the Steelers are in a better position than people think we are in. Okay, if we could get Big Ben to come back, and if he gives us a hometown discount, maybe we can make some of those years voidable. Let's say we save another 8, 9, 10 million with him. We saved 8 with Marques. Now you're working with 15 to 18 million dollars. Guys, we got something to work with. Can we land JJ Watt? But at the very end of the day, this is the deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers. We are a top 5 organization in all of sports. Okay, we're ran beautifully. We draft well. We develop players. We have a top-notch elite head coach. We have a top-notch elite defense. We have a top-notch elite wide receiver room, with or without Juju Smith-Schuster. And if we get Ben coming back, we have a smart Hall of Fame quarterback. Guys, all we need to do is retool the offensive line and draft us a running back. And I think that this is going to be another contending football team. Don't let us get lucky and land a guy like J.J. Watt. All right? But I'm not counting the Pittsburgh Steelers out. I think that we're going to land on our feet, man. That's all I got, man. Please like, share, and subscribe, man. It takes a lot of work for, you know what, I got to say this. It takes time and dedication and commitment to come in here and do these videos. I swear to God, man. Sometimes I just want to just chill. That's why I don't make a whole lot of videos, because it takes time, effort. Once you make a video, it is forever in the atmosphere. It can always be brought up against you. So don't think that I press record and just say whatever I want to say. I put some time and effort into this. So please like, share, and subscribe. Support the channel if you can. Go Steelers. Oh, tonight, Blazers versus the Mavericks, 7:30. That's going to be a game. I'll holler at you.